Good. It means that you can all hear me. So, welcome to another session of our monthly workshop. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully, some more are to join. And then, most importantly, on our topic today, I think I've shared, and all of us are also aware of what we are doing today. So, we can ask ourselves, do we have revenue models for our businesses? We know revenue, without revenue, businesses do not exist unless we are running a charity organization, and I'm sure most of us here are not. So hopefully by end of this session, we will all be able to learn one or two things for our businesses, which at OZÉ, that's what we are expecting for our users. And so I think it's 4-5 now. We have enough people to begin. And when you join the meeting, or
Hello.
when, hello, Carl, can you hear?
Hello.
Carl, I can hear you.
Please, we cannot hear anything. Can you kindly check your sound? Maybe you are muted.
Okay, so aside Carl, can any other person hear me?
Okay,
This
I
is
think
Christopher.
Yeah, I can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you now.
You're very clear.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Very loud and clear.
I
Great,
can hear
good,
you.
good. Thank you, Carl. Wow, I can see what's the name? What's the name? Isaac. Okay, good. Thank you guys for joining. So, without wasting my time, I was going to say something earlier. So if you join, or if you're already on the call, kindly mute yourself, and you feel free to ask questions as and when you want to. And you can also send in your chats if you have any question or any concern, and we will share a link that everybody is supposed to fill for us as feedback form, because it's very important for us. We'll use that to actually tell if this is good for our users or not. And so let's look out for that in the course of the presentation. So let's welcome Megan as she takes us to today's discussion. Megan is the CEO of OZÉ, and she's been doing a great job in terms of this. She has small businesses at heart and always would want them to grow in whatever they are doing. So I don't know how we want to do this. Maybe a thumbs up. Let's welcome Megan as she walks us through today's presentation. Over to you, Megan.
Thanks, Janet. And thank you everybody for coming today. We are going to talk about revenue models. Just give me 1 second. I'll share my screen so we can look at the presentation. And like Janet rightly mentioned, I hope we're seeing a PowerPoint presentation, right? Yes. Can I get a thumbs up if we can see the PowerPoint? Wonderful.
Yes, we can.
Great. So I'm going to put it in presenter mode, which means that I won't really be able to see if anything comes on the chat. So the OZÉ team will interrupt me if questions come through. But you yourself, you're also welcome to interrupt me. So if you have a question or a comment, please just go off mute and ask it. This will be an interactive session. There's a little game towards the end, so make sure you're paying attention. And then towards the end, we'll get the opportunity for a few participants to apply what we've learned to their business. So what we'll learn today are several different revenue models and what kind of businesses each are appropriate for. A revenue model, I guess you can think of it like a shirt that you want to put on. Some people look good in some colors and look bad in other colors. Some people need a small shirt, some people need a big shirt. So while a shirt is technically the same thing, to find the one that's going to make you most, good looking or successful, you need to make sure that the revenue model you're picking is appropriate for your business. We'll also talk about how you can combine several different revenue models together to create a defensible business model. So a business model would have revenue models within it, but a business model would also have elements of cost, production. So right now we're focusing really just on the revenue side, how you can bring more money into your business. So we're going to start by going very quickly through different types of revenue models. You can think of these as the building blocks that you would use to create a revenue model for your business. So the first model I think we're all familiar with is the wholesale model. Can I see thumbs up if anybody is a wholesaler? I'm sure we have at least one wholesaler on this list, on this group. Well, if we are not wholesalers ourselves, I'm sure we supply from wholesalers. There we go, Hair Bureau. We have a wholesaler among us. So wholesalers typically buy products in bulk. Sell products in bulk to a retailer, typically at a discount. So you can see the wholesaler in this picture. They have whole cartons of Tasty Tom. So when they're buying the box of Tasty Tom, each Tasty Tom can or packet, they're paying less for it than the retailer would sell it for. They're buying many, and then they're selling it to people who will sell one. In Ghana, wholesalers sometimes are actually importing the product into the country. Clothing brands that sell through department stores can also be considered a wholesaler. So maybe you make large t-shirts in bulk and you sell them to different shops who will then go on to sell them. Nestle is another example of a wholesaler, right? They're selling products in bulk, and then someone is buying them and reselling them small. Or in the chain, there might be several players, right? So there might be the Nestle factory and then a wholesaler who's buying cartons and containers of it, and then another wholesaler who's buying pallets from them, and then maybe the individual retailer who's selling you cans of Nido 1. A slight adaptation of the wholesaler model is the dealer model. So there are some products where you can go buy, like you can buy Tasty Tom many different places. But if you think about something like Caterpillar or Ford, like the car, or John Deere, these companies wholesale to dealers who then become the retailers, but you can't just go buy it anywhere. If you're a wholesaler, you're focusing on production. The way that you really succeed is if you can get costs down and you can make something very cheaply to give yourself a large profit margin. Something to think about though is that as a wholesaler, you still might need to do the marketing, right? So you might have to do like we see billboards for Nestle or Nido. We see um, like these big, maybe you see a billboard with a Caterpillar construction equipment on it, or you see a billboard with a Toyota on it. Maybe the manufacturer, the wholesaler is paying for that marketing. So next, we have the retail model. Do I have any retailers on the call? Any retailers? Good, I see one, I see two. Retail is a very popular business model. So a retailer can buy from a wholesaler or several wholesalers and resell it to customers at a markup. That's the simplest definition, right? You go buy the crate of Tasty Tom and then you sell the packets individually. One of the challenges with retail is that the profit margins tend to be really thin, right? Especially if you are reselling a product that many other people are also reselling, because you're maybe paying, 4.5 CDs for something that you can only resell for 5 CDs. And in that 50 peso difference, you need to cover your employees, your rent, your marketing, your utilities. So that's one of the challenges with retail, is you can tend to have thin margins. I think that retailers who are successful, there's a couple of things that they can do. One is to create experiences. So I have up here a picture from the Shop Accra. They are a retailer based in Osu. And you can see there's someone here doing a performance. So that brings people into the shop and is a reason for them to come have an experience there and hopefully also buy some products before they go. You can also be successful as a retailer if your shop gets a good brand or you're able to have many shops so that you can have economies of scale. So ShopRite, one of the things that they are is a retailer. People have certain ideas, right? ShopRite has a brand. You know that you're going into ShopRite, you're getting kind of a mid-level price product that's maybe more quality control than the market and maybe less fancy products than a Palace or a Koala. So ShopRite also, because they have stores not just all over Ghana, all over South Africa, really all over Africa, they can say to somebody, to a wholesaler, Nestle will only carry your products if you give us a good price. Otherwise, we won't carry them. And therefore, they can extract a bigger profit margin for themselves. So wholesale and retail, those I would say are two of the most common business models that we see in Ghana. Now that we've gotten them out of the way, we're going to go into some more kind of niche business models. So this is the direct consumer business model. It's almost like a modern adaptation of the retail model, in that you're selling items individually to the end consumer. But what makes them different than the traditional retailer is they tend to not buy it from a wholesaler. They tend to work directly with the factory, directly with the manufacturer to create a product that's specific to them, that nobody else can sell, and that cuts out the profit margins of all of the middlemen, right? So if you're buying a bottle of Guinness in Ghana, that probably went from the Guinness factory to a distributor to a wholesaler, maybe then down to a bar, and then all the way down to the end consumer. And so each person needs to take their cut, and all of those profits are in the price of what you're paying for that beer. But with a direct to consumer model, the idea is it's going directly, it's skipping over all those people. And therefore, because you don't need to give profits to all these different people, you're able to have more of a profit. You can choose to pass that on to customers so that they get to buy the product for cheaper. You can choose to keep it to yourself so you make more profits, or you can do it anywhere in between. These companies typically sell over the internet. They have a website, they have really strong social media, but they're also starting to set up pop-up shops or physical locations. Unlike the previous slides where you saw a lot of Ghanaian brands, you're not really seeing any Ghanaian brands on this slide. That's because the direct consumer model hasn't really yet been popularized in Ghana. There's a couple of e-commerce players like Thrive Market that are trying to go for it. And I think for someone who has a really good aesthetic to design a great product and good social media and marketing savvy, it's an interesting business model for you to try. But in the US, all of the brands you see here are incredibly popular, and some of them are even worth $1 billion or more. Any questions on direct to consumer? Because I know that's the first newish one that I introduced. Okay, well, please feel free to interrupt in case anything is not clear. So the next business revenue model we're going to look at is, sorry about this, let me go on Do Not Disturb. The next revenue model that we'll look at is a subscription. So a subscription is when you pay over time for continued access to a service. So the most traditional subscription businesses are like the newspapers or magazines or cable, right? You pay Star Times a fixed amount every month, and then you get monthly access to that package. The In Ghana, subscriptions are in the modern age. They're more for digital products, which is great because there are two things that really prevent subscriptions from taking off in Ghana. One is if it was a physical product, like let's say you wanted to subscribe to the graphic, unless you have a very clear address, like you're getting it delivered to an office or something, it'd be hard to deliver that paper to your door every day at a cost that's reasonable, right? The other thing that makes the subscription model not very popular in Ghana is that it works the best with if somebody is buying with a credit card, because you need to make sure that you're paying every single month. So maybe if you forgot to pay your Star Times, then you don't have access to your cable. But in other parts of the world, your credit card would just go and Star Times would get paid, and then it would be between you and your credit card. That makes subscription more popular in other parts of the world, but it's starting to become more popular in Ghana. Pay as you go models for solar energy, which I know are not very popular in Accra, but in other parts of Ghana, are also a type of subscription model. Okay, the next one is ad supported. So basically, I think we all are familiar with ad supported products because we all have been on Facebook, right? So when you have an ad supported business model, what you're really doing is selling eyeballs, right? Selling people's attention to people who want to be able to pay to get the attention of others. So Facebook, you can think about like, okay, Facebook has a platform where you put pictures, you share things with your friends. But what Facebook is really selling is the fact that they know who Benjamin is, what Benjamin likes, and if Adidas wants to sell sneakers to Benjamin, they know exactly how to put a picture of sneakers in front of Benjamin with a link to buy them. So that's what ad supported is. Ad supported traditionally started in newspapers, right? Whenever you open the graphic, you might see advertisements in that paper. But now it's really coming back with the renaissance of podcasting and newsletters, different businesses where there's a more nuanced way of putting an ad. So there's a software company called Adobe. They make a podcast about product design, and the whole thing is an advertisement. So now there are ways to do ad supported models that are not very much like just sticking a billboard on a website, but are more sophisticated. So this model, it was very popular when the internet first came out, then it became less popular, and now it's becoming popular again. The thing to think about with this revenue model is you have to be very careful that your users don't feel like they're the product, right? Facebook, you might feel like, oh, I have a Facebook profile, so I'm Facebook's customer. But if you're not paying Facebook, you're not Facebook's customer. So then who is, right? So if you have an ad supported model, you have to be very careful that the person whose attention you are selling to somebody else feels value in your product and doesn't get like angry or upset with you by saying, oh, you're just taking advantage of me to sell my data to somebody else. Okay, so we have the freemium model. I hope this screen is familiar to people. Freemium model is a model that OZÉ uses. So where freemium model is you give something away for free and you hope that people like it and they pay for a more premium version. This really only works with software products where the cost of giving somebody more product doesn't create that many more costs, right? So it costs OZÉ similar amounts of money if someone is on silver or somebody is on gold. But if you go to eat wache, you don't see a freemium model in wache because they're not going to say, okay, your first 2 scoops of rice are free, but if you want an egg, you pay, or you want more rice, you pay, because each scoop of rice has the same amount of cost to it. So people love free things. So if you go for a freemium business model, you need to make sure that you're balancing it. So you still have a good user experience for people who are on the free version of your product, but also that you're holding something back and you're saving something so that people will pay. Otherwise, like Janet said, you're running a charity and not a business, and you'll have to shut your doors before long. I think we're near the end. 3 more. Any questions so far? Okay. So the next model is razor and blade. So this is where you sell the durable part, the part that's going to last a long time, very cheaply, and then you make more money when you sell the parts that change. So it's called the razor and blade model because, let's say, Gillette is a very popular razor company. In the US, when men turn 18, they get even the Gillette handle in the mail for free, knowing that now for the rest of your life, you're going to be buying Gillette razor blades, which have very high profit margins. Printer and ink is another very common version of this. In our OZÉ office, we actually have 2 printers, or I think we sold one, but we had 2 printers at one point because it was cheaper to buy a second printer and get the free ink than to just go buy ink, right? So you might think, oh, HP is giving me a deal. This printer is so inexpensive. But now for the rest of that printer's life, you're spending so much money on ink. MTN as well, they might say something like, you're getting like free, or you're getting like, we're going to do
Free
like,
SIM cards.
sorry?
Free SIM cards.
Exactly, yes. They'll give you the free SIM card, or they'll charge like some few CDs for the SIM card. And then they make money because once you have that SIM card, you're going to buy data, you're going to buy minutes. So last 2. So multi-sided platform. These can be out in the real world. These can also be online. You can make revenue in a couple of ways. So a multi-sided platform, you can think of it as a platform, a place that brings together buyers and sellers. And you, as the revenue model, can make money from the buyers, you can make money from the sellers, or you can make money for both. So this is a picture from a market in Ghana. To go to this market, the sellers have to pay for a booth, right? But if you want to go browse, you don't pay any money to the market. The market's costs come from having to promote itself, because if they don't bring in enough buyers, then the sellers are not going to rent booths from them, or they won't pay for the booth. Online, you can see this as something like Jobberman, where people maybe they pay to post jobs on the website. And then if you're looking for a job, you can go for free. But I think they also make money off of job seekers by saying, you can pay us and we'll review your resume, right? So some people make money from the buyers, the sellers, or both. One of the challenging things about this business model is you need to keep things in balance, right? If we go back to the version, the green butterfly market, if it's so many buyers and not a lot of sellers, the buyers won't find what they want, and so they won't come back. And if you have so many sellers and not a lot of buyers, the sellers won't pay for that booth and they won't come back. So you always are having to like check on both sides. It's almost like you have two sets of customers, and make sure that you have them in equilibrium for it to be successful. And then the last one we're going to look at is transaction costs or commission costs. So this revenue model takes a small part of every transaction on the platform. So some of the most popular businesses that use this revenue model in Ghana, one of them, for example, is Uber, right? Some amount of the money that you're paying for your ride is going to Uber as their commission. You can also see this in things like Express Pay or other POS systems or other fintech systems, maybe, or MTN Momo, maybe for every 100 CDs you send, they're taking a 1 CD commission. So that's how they make their money. If you're using a transaction or a commission revenue model in your business, what your primary challenge is going to be is to get enough volume, because it takes a lot of 100 CD transactions for 1 CD to pay your bills. So it's nice because sometimes the customer doesn't even feel like they're paying you, but then it's hard because you need to get a lot of people, a lot of volume, a lot of transactions before you can make real money. So I have the ones that we went over up on the screen right now. Obviously, there are many, 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 many more revenue models. I didn't really talk about service revenue models, but I want to pause here and see if anybody has any questions about anything that was said. You can either type it in the chat or go off mute and ask. I know someone went off mute. I can't tell who, but please go ahead and ask your question.
Well, multi-site platform, I didn't get it clear. So if you can brief me with that aspect, then I'll understand it better.
Sure. So a multi-sided platform, like basically what you're selling is the idea that you can bring buyers and sellers together. So in a traditional sense, maybe a market, like an art market, you're saying, even if we use the art market in Accra, somebody owns all of those stalls. Somebody had the idea, like, if I can convince all these artisans to come sell at the same place, it would be easier for me to convince all these buyers to come buy from the same place. So the thing that you are managing, that you're running, is the place where buyers and sellers come together. This can happen like out in the real world, like a market, or this can happen online, like Jobberman, or the way Jumia used to be, where it was some people selling and some people buying, rather than Jumia just kind of selling everything. Is that clear?
It's clear now.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Megan, there's a hand up. Chantal?
Hello, my name is Chantal. I have a question regarding those produce that you want to export in the US from Africa. Can I use the model direct to consumer if I have a population, for example, in US, they are from the diaspora? I know already which product they want to consume. I don't need to go to a specific market. I can directly sell to one person in the community. Is that a direct to consumer model? I'm working with the AGOA trade agreement.
Sure. Yeah. So you can definitely do a direct to consumer model. That's what makes it direct to consumer. Maybe, let's say you're selling a fashion item, let's say some earrings that are made by an artisan in Ghana. Then you can work directly with that artisan, which is like directly from the manufacturer, and then send it directly to the customer who wants it. That's a direct to consumer model, certainly. I would say some things
like
to
consider. In my case, it's food product, the cassava that I know that population need that quality from Congo, and it's a large population. I want direct to sell to them. I don't want to go through a store or somebody, a middleman. I know really who I'm going to distribute it to.
Yes, then that's definitely the direct to consumer, right? You're working straight with the farmers or straight with the food processors and then selling
Correct.
directly to consumers. Something to think about with the direct to consumer model is that in general, no matter where you're making the product in the world, a direct to consumer model has typically higher costs of customer acquisition, right? It's easier for maybe a customer to find your product in a supermarket because they're going there anyway to buy food than it would be to know exactly your brand, your product. So it's more expensive typically to help those customers know that you exist. And then it's typically more expensive to fulfill orders because you're fulfilling them one by one, as opposed to sending one shipping container all to the same supermarket. So those aren't
And when
reasons not to do
and
it.
when
They're
I'm
just things to think about.
and when I move up to a next level, when I have a bigger order, which one should I use then? Which model should I use?
It's completely up to you, right? They all have pluses and
Okay.
minuses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks. Other questions? Okay, well, feel free to ask as we keep going.
Oh, sorry, please let me chime in. I raised my hand.
Oh, sorry. It's very
Okay.
hard for me to see when I'm sharing.
Oh,
Please
okay.
go ahead.
No problem. Okay, so if you have an insurance company that comes to a business, so the insurance people pay premiums for okay, people pay premiums, so it's like a subscription, isn't it?
Mhm.
And then they walk into an office and say, we would like to offer you a group insurance.
Mhm.
It's a direct to customer, isn't it?
It can be a couple of different things. And we'll definitely get into this in the next section, that it's very much not black and white, and that most businesses are combining a couple of these tactics. So you could say, so definitely yes, a subscription model. Then the question is, are you a wholesaler or are you doing direct to consumer? Because you could say to, let's say you go to Stanbic Bank and you want to sell health insurance to all of their employees. You could go 1-1 to each of those employees and sell them. Or you could say, okay, Stanbic, you have 1,000 employees in Ghana. Let me wholesale let me wholesale these insurance policies to you, and then you can choose to sell them to your employees or give them to your employees, in which case you're not going direct to consumer, you're wholesaling them to be resold to the end user.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, great. So that was actually a great transition question, because as you can see, there are many different, all of the revenue models up on this slide. And typically businesses pick a couple of them and combine them together to make their business model. So of course we have like a very traditional, like I am a wholesaler, I just resell Nestle products in bulk to people who are going to sell them individually. But I think most of us are trying to do something innovative and new, and playing around with how to combine these revenue models is a really good way to create innovation in your business model and really create a business that's going to earn profits and grow very quickly. So we're going to play a little game where I put a couple of these cards on the screen. And I want you to shout out what business you think I'm trying to describe with their revenue model. So let me see if I can, now you can all see yourself. Okay, I also see a question. I'll come back to the question about which model would you recommend for entrepreneurs that sell mostly online. So if you think that you have the answer to what business I'm talking about, you can either shout it out and write it in the chat. Okay? So this is a company, and this is the hardest one. So we're starting out hard because it's not a Ghanaian company. But after that, we're going to go into Ghanaian companies or companies that operate in Ghana. But I think this is an interesting combination of direct to consumer and razor and blade. So any ideas? Anyone can shout out or chat and put in the chat the name of a business that is using direct to consumer and the razor and blade model for their business. So we'll get 10 seconds because this one I think is going to be hard. And then I'll just tell you what it is because I think it's very, very interesting. 5. Great. Okay, so I see some guesses. Alibaba.
Amazon.
Amazon, okay. And I see HP. I'm trying to think if Alibaba meets this criteria. I don't think Alibaba or Amazon are razor and blade, although those businesses are very complex, and it wouldn't surprise me if they were not doing something in that model. I think HP is a good close guess, but HP doesn't do direct to consumer, right? So if you're in Ghana and you want a printer, you don't go to the HP store, or you don't really even go to hp.com. You go to like CompuWorld or something and you buy it from them. So HP is razor and blade, but not direct to consumer.
Apple.
Apple. Apple is direct to consumer. Is Apple razor and blade? Potentially. Good guess. So this is one I know I kind of am cheating because I think probably no one's even heard of this company before. I promise you would have heard of the other ones. So this is a toothbrush company called Quip. It's electric toothbrushes. You can buy the handle, which has like the battery power, for very, very cheap. And then every 3 months or so, every 10 weeks, 3 months, you get a new head top of the brush and toothpaste. And why I think this is a really interesting example to bring up is because I think you want to try to blend your business model so it really makes sense with what you're trying to achieve. So this company was started by dentists, and you're supposed to replace your toothbrush like 6 times a year. And I think, I don't know, I maybe change mine 3 times a year. That's bad for your dental health. And that's also bad for toothbrush manufacturers, right? Because you're not buying as many as you should. So the fact that they use a razor and blade model like promotes the mission of their company, which is cleaner teeth, and solves a kind of business problem in their market that people aren't replacing their toothbrushes as much as they should. So toothbrush companies aren't making enough or as much money as they could. Okay. This one is a subscription model plus freemium plus transaction or commission. So I'll give you 10 seconds to answer this one. Ghanaian company.
OZÉ app.
Yes, who said it? You got it right. I hope it wasn't someone from OZÉ. Exactly, yeah. So this is the OZÉ business model. As OZÉ entrepreneurs, we like to be very transparent with you because we think if we share how we run our business, it will make it easier for you to take ideas and run your business. So OZÉ is a freemium subscription, meaning that you can be on bronze for free forever, or you can go silver, gold, platinum, and pay monthly. And then we get a commission, a small commission, if we help you to get a loan. So if people on here are looking for loans, you might not know, but if you're on the OZÉ app for 30 days, active for 30 days at least, then you can apply for a loan at a commercial bank rate. Let me see. LinkedIn is definitely a freemium subscription. I don't know if they make a transaction fee or commission in any way, but yes, LinkedIn is a freemium subscription. Insurance companies, I don't think they ever give any insurance for free. but they might be a commission-based subscription business. And then I think that was from the last one. Okay. Okay. This one is not a Ghanaian company, but they operate in Ghana. A multi-sided platform that also earns transaction or commission fees. I see Jandy said Facebook. I'm not sure if she's answering for this one or last one, but Facebook isn't what I was thinking of, but it could definitely count. Slide
Uber.
Pay. Who said Uber? Was that Wendy?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. I thought it was Uber too. And I even made these slides. In my head, it was Uber. But Uber definitely works. I thought of Airbnb because Airbnb tries to get lots of people to come, like lots of people want to stay in vacation houses to come stay. They also have people who own apartments and houses to list their houses on the platform. And then each time they make that match, they get a cut. Okay, this one has retail, subscription, ad-supported, multi-sided platform, and transaction or commission. Also, I think this is a Nigerian business.
Jumia.
Yes, I maybe gave it away. But yeah, Jumia has a very, very complicated revenue model. This could be one of the reasons maybe why they are now a publicly traded company. They do retail. They do retail in that, let's say they're buying like Frytol in bulk from Frytol, and then they're reselling it individually to the customers. They have Jumia. I can't remember if it's Jumia Prime, what it's called, but you can like pay a flat monthly rate to Jumia and get free deliveries. You can boost your product page. So that's ad supported, right? You can boost to have your product have an ad basically on their page and get listed. They have the older part of their business where buyers and sellers can come together. Sellers can list their product on their platform. And then each time something gets sold on their platform, they're making a transaction or a commission. I see eBay. I think eBay is not retailer subscription, but the last ad support and multi-sided and transaction commission would be eBay. Okay. So I hope we had fun with this game. Congratulations to everybody who got one right. What I want to do is just take 3 minutes for you to think about which revenue models apply to your business, and then raise your hand, and someone from the OZÉ team who can see the participant list will choose 3 people to share their revenue models and get feedback. So I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes while you think about which of these revenue models could apply to your business.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. Considering the revenue model, the combination, like you've just presented, now I'm wondering what category or what revenue model would we say that the network marketing companies, for instance, Nolan, what revenue combination would we say network marketing company, because I know they do subscription, they sell products, and it's direct to customer mostly. And what else do they do? Now, they also will require members to bring in more persons in order for them to scale the business. So I'm wondering, what are the combination aside the subscription and the product direct sales? How do we classify the aspect of them requiring members to bring in more members and stuff like that?
Sure. So I would actually say that they're a direct to consumer wholesaler in that the way that they make money, let's say I'm a, what is it, Nutra blend seller.
Yeah.
They don't like NutraBlend, the company. I know that's not the name. I'm getting the name wrong, but they don't make any money when I sell to the ultimate consumer. They make money when I buy it from them. And because I'm buying it from them in bulk, they're a wholesaler. And because I'm like in their minds, the end customer, it can be considered direct to consumer. If you don't think about like them actually making money at the end. But I really just think of them as a wholesaler with a business model that doesn't pay their distributors.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna set the timer for 3 minutes while you think about which 1, 2, 3, 4 of these apply to your business. If maybe you're starting up and you haven't really figured out your revenue model yet, you can also talk about which couple of them you would want to use in your business. And then Janie, if you can look at the participant list and pick the first 3 people to raise their hands, they'll be able to share theirs and get feedback. Put the timer up. Oh, it's not gonna let me with my fake background. I'll give you warnings.
Okay, so we have the first hand up from Adi.
Okay, they get to reflect for like 2 more minutes, but then they will go first.
Okay, good.
Hello? Hello?
Yes?
Can I proceed?
No, we're giving everyone like 2 more minutes to reflect, and then you'll go. I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Megan, we've got 3 now.
Okay. So everyone else can keep reflecting, and I know we're posting this on Facebook, and so feel free to, if you don't get to be one of the 3 who presents, to share it with your OZÉ coach or post it in the Facebook group, and we'll get back to you and give you feedback there. So Jenna, do you want to go ahead and call the first person up?
Okay, so that's Adi. I don't know if I'm getting the name right, but ADI.
Yeah, it's Adi. Hi, my name is Adi. So I'm not really certain what exactly the business module is. What I know, because my business is into education, and I presume my business model, the business model I'm actually currently operating or working with is direct to the customer. However, I would appreciate if I'm guided on which other business modules would be effective for my kind of business.
Sure. I think one of the most popular, so by education, are you like a school, or do you do tutoring, something else in the education space?
I'm a school, like a school. It's a training school.
Great. So we don't really think about tuition as a subscription, but that's what it is. You're paying like a fixed fee every month or every quarter, or every semester in order to have access to an ongoing service. So you can think about the revenue model being subscription. And you can definitely say direct to consumer. I think you mentioned that it's a trade school. So you can also kind of reimagine the way that ad supported works. So maybe what trade do you teach?
So we teach in fashion.
Great. So maybe you're teaching people to design really great clothes, to sew really well, to accessorize really well. You could almost use like either a multi-sided platform or ad supported to help people who are looking to hire those with this talent to find trained employees into their business. So it's almost like, let's say, I don't know, what's a big fashion brand that you know?
Zara.
Hmm?
Zara.
Zara. So let's say like you had an ad supported model where Zara really wanted people coming out of your school to go work for them. They could pay ads to have, I don't know, the sewing room branded as the Zara's sewing room. So you can think about, I mean, I don't know if this model would work, but you can also think about ways that an ad supported or multi-sided platform on the job placement side could add revenue into your business.
Very well. Thank you so much, Megan.
Yeah.
This was very helpful. Thank you. So
Yeah.
I'll look at both of them.
Great. Thank you for sharing your business.
Thanks.
Janet, who's up next?
Wendy.
Wendy, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, my name is Wendy, and I'm also not very sure because I just started my business, and I'm into hair care products. So I produce hair care products myself, but I think I use the direct to consumer multi-sided platform and then ad supported module. But it would be great if you could help me out in knowing which model is best for my business.
Can you explain a little bit how you use the multi-sided platform and ad supported?
Okay, so for the multi-sided, I make money through people who sell the products on my behalf, but I sell them myself as well. And I have people who sell the products for me as well. And then the ad supported, I sell using my Instagram page. So I make use of the ads that Instagram gives, and then I pay, and then they promote my work, my business.
Okay, great. So I think let me clarify a little bit multi-sided platform and ad supported. You're definitely doing direct to consumer if you're manufacturing and then selling it to the end customer. That's absolutely direct to consumer. I would say that when other people are also selling on your behalf, you're either doing wholesale, so you're selling them in bulk. I would say that's probably most likely what it is, a wholesale arrangement where they're selling for you, or even like potentially a commission, but typically it would be they would be paying. I would say a wholesaler would be a more direct way. When I say ad supported, that doesn't mean that you're spending money on ads. It means that you're making money when other people are paying ads. So Instagram is an ad supported business, but you, just because you're selling through Instagram doesn't mean you're an ad supported business. So let me give you an example of how you could be an ad supported business. So let's say in making your hair care products, you end up creating an Instagram page with a huge following. So 500,000 people come on there to see videos of how to use the hair care product, look at different hairstyles, etc. There might be then somebody who makes earrings who says, well, everyone's coming on here and looking at the hairstyles, so I want Wendy's Instagram page to sell my earrings. So you could say, you know, what goes perfectly with your soft curls, this pair of earrings from Earrings R Us. And Earrings R Us would then pay you to be putting that ad out there. So that's what would make you ad supported, if somebody else was paying you to do ads, rather than because you're paying to do ads. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Wendy. And lucky number 3?
George.
Yeah, I think I believe mine is multi-sided platform, and that's because I'm a Nigerian and I run a tech lab, a tech hub, and basically what we do at the hub is we identify young talents, train them on digital technology, and then we outsource them to companies or organizations who need their services. And also we also provide use some of them that are with us are part of our team that we use to deliver projects to companies. So our revenue comes from either outsourcing the talents to companies who need skills, people who need people with certain skills in different fields of digital technology. And also, we make money from training people who require these skills and at the same time provide services in terms of our clients who need us to work on a project. So I would say we fall under the multi-sided platform. I don't know if I'm correct, so I just wanted to help me out there.
Yeah, sure. There's no right or wrong answer, because all of these things can be interpreted very specifically or very broadly. I would say definitely your multi-sided platform because you making revenue relies on both getting enough clients in who want to pay for your trainees and enough trainees in that you can staff up those projects and have quality. So I would see you as multi-sided. You also could be a subscription company, in so much as people would pay like a tuition in order to come study with you over time. Um, you also could be considered a fee for service, or like a service delivery business, which I don't have up here, which like a service delivery model, a fee for service model, consulting model. This is when you put human capital towards achieving something specific as outlined by your clients. So it's almost like a mixture of direct to consumer and services, um, that I didn't have because we could spend a whole month looking at the different revenue models that are out there. But yeah, I think that's an interesting model. And I think it's smart for everybody to at least try to find two ways to make money, especially if you're a newer company. Having a couple of these revenue models that you're experimenting with will help you see in which ways can you really make money and which ones maybe don't work as well.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'll critically consider the subscription model you just mentioned. I think that's an avenue we've not explored.
Great. So those were three people. If others want to share and get feedback, again, you can comment on Instagram post about today's session or post in our Facebook groups, and an OZÉ business coach or myself will get back to you with some feedback. So please feel free. That conversation doesn't have to end today. And then I would be remiss to say if I didn't say the only way to know if these revenue models are working is if you know how much revenue is coming in the door. So no matter what revenue model you're using, make sure that you're recording that revenue in the OZÉ app so that you can take a data-driven approach to deciding which of these revenue models are going to be most profitable for your business. So with that, I will hand it back to Janet to continue with finishing up the workshop.
Okay, so thank you so much, Megan, for this wonderful presentation. I think my favorite is the razor and blade. I don't know why. But have been thinking since you started the presentation. So there's this user here who is into show us baby. Okay, so then Shiwa, can you please mute yourself? Okay, good. So there's this user here who is into biogas digester. So I've been thinking for him, perhaps he could use that because he builds the I don't know whether to call it the manhole or that structure, and then he also sells the chemicals. So in this way he can sell he can build a structure at a very minimum price, and then get the people to buy the chemicals at a very high price so he can get his money. So Over to you, Isaac. That's a free consultation after learning from Megan today. Anyway, so thank you so much, guys, for joining. I just shared in the chat the OZÉ app link. In case you are not or you do not have the app yet, you can just click on the link to download the app. And then also we have here a feedback form which we would want you guys to tell us something about this workshop because we want to improve per what you are telling us. And so I'm sharing that also. Please take a minute of your time to just give us feedback. Good, is there? Very good. So aside that too, I want to thank everybody once again. Unless maybe someone has a question at this point, it's supposed to be a QA session at this time, but perhaps we are done. I don't know. But if anybody wants to ask a question, you can go ahead and then we just call it a day. Any question? Okay, that's fine.
Hello.
So we
Please,
okay,
the
good.
form is
Wendy,
not opening.
the form is not opening.
Yes.
Wow. Okay,
It
Paul, please,
says
if you are here,
I would
kindly
need permission.
you need permission. Okay, so Paul, kindly take a look at the form again, and then you can share on the page for us. So as we wait for the link, any question, anybody wants to share any idea, anything so far? Okay, good. Paul just shared the forms.
Okay, I have a question. Can
Okay,
I go ahead?
good. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I was just wondering, I know we've already discussed different business models. I'm not into this myself, but I would like to know more about, there's this social media influencing entrepreneurship thing that has sort of come up where people take either, I don't know, commissions or they use affiliate links or they basically they partner with brands to get paid. I don't know if maybe Megan can talk a bit more about because in a way they're kind of running ad supported revenue models. If she could probably talk more on it or basically yeah, that's it. Sure. So I think you got it most of the way there. So think if you're an influencer, think of yourself as your own, sole proprietorship or private company. And so ask yourself how you make money. And I think the the most way that you make money is by doing ads, right? So you can almost think of yourself as Facebook and that you're creating content that makes people come and give you their attention, give you your eyeballs, and then you're charging somebody else to pay you to do an ad. You can also think about the commission or transaction model for the affiliate links, like you mentioned. So there are some brands that will say, I want to pay this influencer 10,000 CDs to do a post with them wearing my clothes. And then there are others that say, I'm not going to pay you anything to do a post, let's say, about opening a savings account with my bank. But every time somebody does, you'll get a commission. So those are just the general ad supported model and the commission model are both frequently used by influencers. All right, thank you. Paul, while you're looking at the sheet, I think you need to set it so that they don't need to have a OZÉ or Dare to Innovate email address to be able to fill out the form. I think that's what the issue is.
Okay, there's a hand up, Henry Biney. Please go ahead. Henry, kindly go ahead with your question. Okay, so I don't know if he can actually hear us, but this presentation is going to be in series, right, Megan? So next week, next month, we're going to continue the session. with another wonderful presentation. So let's stay tuned. We will share the information as and when it's ready. And then also, in case you missed some part of this presentation, also we're going to share on the WhatsApp page and the link to our YouTube page. You can go and watch. Aside that too, we also have a learning platform. We also share that as well, so you can also have access to the presentation. So, Paul, are we done now?
Can I ask a question, a quick one before we wrap up?
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead, please, John.
My question is to you guys. Do you have a team in Nigeria, OZÉ? Because
Yes.
what caught my attention was that I'm into my area of expertise is data analysis, and I think it was on LinkedIn that I stumbled on OZÉ, and I did a little bit of looked it up, and I found out that your focus is on data, helping small businesses manage data so that they could make informed decision, and that got me interested. So when I saw the ad concerning this presentation today, I decided to take part because I think it's a wonderful app. I think it is, but I'm just wondering that Nigeria is a huge market, and I'm not hearing much about OZÉ back here in Nigeria.
So you can help us make noise in Nigeria. We do have a team. They have all joined. I think the one who's been here the longest is less than 2 months. So some are on the call. Paul, Ike, Shewa, Gogo. This is the fearless team starting OZÉ in Nigeria. But please help us make noise so that more small businesses there can know about us. And I apologize. I
Okay.
know I mentioned Ghana a lot more than Nigeria in the presentation because it's what I'm used to, but I'm learning.
Yeah, I understand. And maybe what I'll try and do, if you could give me a contact, I could connect with your team in Nigeria, or somebody, a contact person in Nigeria I could connect with. Um, I feel, well, I don't know. I'm sure you have your marketing strategy to penetrate Nigerian market. Um, well, I would just like to see it because I'm really interested because, like I said, I'm into data analytics and for the fact that OZÉ, and I've been trying to see how to get small businesses leverage the power of data. And it's been difficult, I must say, because the tools we have are more like tools for businesses that are a little bit more advanced, but not for small businesses. But I was kind of amazed when I came across OZÉ on LinkedIn, and it got me interested. So when this seminar, or when the ad for this presentation was, I said I must attend because I really want to know more. And I discovered that majority were Ghanaians. And I said, okay, come, let me pop up this question. Do you have a team in Nigeria? So I would like to connect with your team in Nigeria and also see how I could also play a part in helping the the platform scale in Nigeria, especially in this part of Nigeria where I know I have more influence because I train small businesses.
Great. Thanks so much, George, for your enthusiasm and willingness to help. I private messaged you Ike's email address. Ike is the market lead for Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so thank you guys. Sorry we couldn't share the forms, but I just shared a link to our WhatsApp page. You can just join where we will share everything concerning this workshop, including the form, so you can give us your feedback. And so, Megan, do you have anything to say?
Thanks,
Anything from
Paul.
anybody here? From Dave, Paul, Winnie, anybody? If not, then thank you guys and have a wonderful midweek. See you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.